What is up, people? How are you? Sorry, I am a minute or two late. My son is at his orientation for college, and he took my laptop that I normally use for our tutorials. So I had to go grab the other one and stuff, me and tech, it just doesn't always work. So anyway, if you are joining us, let me know in the comments you are here. Tonight we are going to be working on this apple container that was part of the combo box this month, the mix of the month. There is, I think, one of these left. There's two of them left. Two of the mix of the month packs. I did put them on the website, or you could there's a post in the Facebook group that that you can leave your email and then you can order that way, and I send you a PayPal invoice. So you can do that, or I did add them to the website. The last two, they're under the What's New section. So in the April Mix of the Month pack, you got this really cute apple container. Ooh. And the lid comes off, so you can use this for like candy, like storing candy. You could put dog treats in here if you wanted. Anything really that's small, you could use it as a pencil holder. If you wanted to leave the top off, you could put paper clips. You could put your random your rhinestones that you lose or you drop. Like I have this just like red solo cup that I have where I put like my random stones that I lost. You could put those in here. Eventually I'm going to make this into some kind of like cool project. So if that's something that you guys have done too, I would love to see those projects, because I think that's like one of those things where it's just totally unexpected. It's not something that could be duplicated. You really couldn't recreate it yourself if you wanted to. So it's just so unique, just using all your random stones. And the things that you could come up with doing that are just so cool. So how are you guys? Again, post in the comments. Let me know you are here. Let me know where you are joining from. I see that Miss Teresa is here. How are you, honey? And then Miss TT is here. She says, I'm the one that's always asking a million questions and say, oh, hi, how are you? How are you? So I hope with that cup that you were working on, when I was looking at it, the Calling Baton Rouge, ooh, don't spill that one. That mix, I think would actually work pretty cool for a camo pattern. So hear me out, right? This does have purple in it. It has dark amethyst. But if you're putting these over the black parts of that tumbler that's already painted, this purple is going to kind of pop a little bit with that black behind it, and it's going to give it kind of like a black appearance. So honestly, I think this mix would look really great as a camo like scatter fill. Or if you wanted, you could try the mix, and instead of using the purple, just sub in some black diamond with this. Black diamond would look really great with it as well. The other thing I was going to say is kind of hard to like describe in emails, like when you're talking. So there's a couple different kinds of rhinestones, right? So the solids, like white, beige, toffee, those are straight solid. Even this moonbeam one, these are straight solid. So you don't really they have a shine to them, right? They have a little bit of a bling factor, but you don't get the same bling factor that you would on just the regular glass stones. And sometimes I feel, this is just my personal opinion, when you mix a solid color next to the like clear glass colors, it doesn't always look how you think you want it to, because the solids just don't give off that same appearance as the regular glass stones do. Even though they're glass, you just can't see through them. They're not opaque. That's why we call them solids. So just keep that in mind if you do decide to get either the beige or the jet black. Those are solids. You're not going to see through them. You're going to have variations in how the stones look. So like this is like a regular glass color, right? And then these are the moonbeam white. So these are solids too. And I know sometimes with the stream, it's kind of hard to see when I get close. So hopefully you're able to tell. But do you see how these look more like they're more shiny? You can see into the stone, where these you're just seeing kind of like the top of the stone. You're going to get a different appearance with that. So just keep that in mind with if you decide to pair a solid color next to one of the like regular glass colors. But I honestly think that that Colin Baton Rouge mix would look really great as a camo fill pattern. Or if you wanted to sub it out with jet black or black diamond, that would look really great too. So good luck with that. And one of the questions that she was asking, which some of you guys might also have the same or similar question, is how many sizes should you use when you are doing a scatter fill? So the rule of thumb is you want to remember that you need at least 3 sizes, and you want sizes that aren't super close to each other, where it's just like maybe one size up. You want to have a little bit of a gap in between them. So if you want to start a mix or create your own mix, you should use at least 3 sizes. And I recommend using SS6 for your small size stones, then an SS10 or an SS12. Those are really very, very close in size. And then an SS20, you could also use SS16, but you should have at least 3 sizes. So SS6, SS10, and SS20. That's going to give you enough of a variation in size that you're going to have dimension, you're going to have variation in the sizing, and you're going to have a stone size that's big enough to help you fill in the gaps in between the stones as you're placing them. Now, granted, the more stones sizes you can use in your mix, the more variation you're going to have, the easier it is going to be to create a more even fill with less gaps. So most of the mixes that I create, I put a minimum of 5 sizes in them. Sometimes I'll put 6 or 7, and I'll include like SS4s and SS30s to give it kind of like that different variation. But if you're new and you don't have a lot of your rhinestone stock built up yet, and you just want to kind of like try it out, maybe with a single color, you should get at least 3 sizes. Or kind of like the budget friendly option is to get one of the multi-size packs, because this has SS4, 6, 10, 12, 16, 20. If you were to pour this all together, this would make a really great mix because it has all the 6 different sizes. You could buy a couple of these and use 3 sizes out of it. You could buy other colors and use the different sizes to kind of get that 6 different sizes. It doesn't have to be all 6 of the same size. Mixture ratio, you should have on the larger sizes, like the 16s and the 20s, you want that to make up about 50%, 50 to 60% of your mix. And then the sizes, actually, I'm going to say you want it to be closer to 65 to 70% of your mix, because then if you put your smaller sizes in there, the smaller you get with the size, number one, the longer it's going to take you to cover your surface. Number two, it's going to be more expensive because you need more stones to fill the same amount of space. And number three, you're going to have a lot of like spots where they're so small that it's you're going to be trying to fill gaps that don't necessarily need to be filled. So keep your mix like 60 to 70%, the larger sizes like SS16, SS20, and then use the smaller sizes like a 10 or 12, 8, 10, 12, make that like the other 15%. And then you only want the smaller sizes to be maybe 5 to 10%. And you could use a SS6 or a SS4. It's really kind of up to you. The more you do it, the more you're going to get used to what sizes you like to use in your mix. I know for myself, if I have a lot of the small sizes in there, I tend to gravitate to the smaller sizes and I want to use them on everything. So if you keep your mix where it's mostly more of the larger sizes, you're going to kind of prevent yourself from doing that. So hopefully that helps you guys if you're trying to create scatter mixes. Or if you're working with other ones, or maybe you have random stuff from different packs left and you just want to like try to be creative, just try to use 3 different sizes to create your full pattern. So there is that. So we are going to work on doing the apple that was in the mix pack. And I'm going to show you how to do a scatter fill, how to prep the surface, and what glue I'm going to use. I'm going to use the normal glue that I use on pretty much all of my projects, as long as it's not something that's going to be heavily handled. I will use the super tight fusion tack on almost everything, which now that I'm looking, I don't think I have my glue right here. I might have to go grab it. I'll figure it out. I have some. And then what else? If you weren't on last week or you're not in the Facebook group, you might not have heard the announcement. The 25th and 26th, I am going to be at the Pinners Conference with a vendor booth for Bling Your Things. So I'm trying to put together right now like sublimation kits, kits for you that you can do to follow along. I'm going to have some stuff from prior month's Bling boxes that I will have a space too that we can kind of do like make and take projects. So I'd be able to show you how to get started, answer your questions. I will have regular packs of rhinestones and things like that. So I'm kind of just like, my brain is going 800 miles a minute trying to figure out what I all want to take. And one of the questions that I wanted to ask you guys is, so if you have purchased either a regular rhinestone kit or a sublimation kit, or even if you haven't gotten it, what is something that you've either had your eye on or you did the project and you really liked it, so that I can take more of those items to the show so that I have those on hand for new customers that I'm going to meet. I do have a lot of customers that order from me in like the Atlanta area, but most of the people that are going to be there are going to be new to Bling Your Things. So I want to make sure that I'm bringing stuff that is not maybe necessarily something that I like, but stuff that you guys like too. So if you have a favorite project that you've either done or you've had your eye on something that you wanted to do, could you post in the comments what that project is? And I will make some of those and take them with me to the show. And I will have, if you are able to come, they did give me a code that you can use for your general admission ticket to get $5 off, and that code is SHOP, SHOP. And I think it was $12 a day or like $18 for the whole weekend. It starts at like 10 a.m. and goes to 7 p.m. Each day. So it's going to be some pretty long days. You have lots of opportunity to come. There's over 103 other vendors that are going to be there. And they're going to be having other classes throughout the day. You're able to go to the classes. The vendors who are doing the classes will also have kits available for purchase. So all kinds of fun stuff for that weekend. And if you're able to come, make sure you stop by. I would love to meet you and put a face to the name and all of that good stuff. So I would love to see post Post in the comments what project you guys think I should take to the show. And so let's see. I'm going to switch over to just this camera so that, oops, you don't want my mug. We want this one. So Renee says the leopard swirl. Yes, I have that one. I have that one at the top of my list. And then the mermaid, yes, that was very popular too. I just kind of worried with that one. If someone was new to rhinestones, because that one is more of a scatter fill, you're using a lot of the smaller sizes. Would that, if that was your very first project, would that discourage you from doing more if that was the project that you started with? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand this. I'm going to try to use the sanding block. You can use a sanding block or you can use just regular sandpaper. I think this one's 80 grit. You could use 122. When you sand too, don't try to do it over your rhinestones because you don't want that dust and stuff getting into your stones. So I'm just going to lightly sand to kind of take the shine off of this. You don't have to go crazy with it. We're just trying to get that shiny piece off the top, or that shiny layer off the top, and then create kind of like grooves with the sanding or our glue to have something to attach to. And I'm going to use the two mixes that were in the mix pack. One is called Strawberry Wine. That one is more of a red base. And then the pink sunglasses has variations of some pinks. So I'm going to do it kind of like as an ombre with the reds at the top, and then the pinks towards the bottom. There's also a pack of cyan red and SS16, and I'll use those in with the strawberry wine mix. There's also that multi-pack of Pod Parashita. You could mix that in with either of them. You could use that on its own. Whatever you want to do. All right, so I have that sanded. Then I'm going to use some rubbing alcohol. This is just rubbing alcohol, that's 70% isopropyl. I got these little containers with like the push tops. These make it very easy, like when you're working on your stuff. Then you don't have to take the cap off. You're not screwing it on and off. You don't have to worry about spilling it. If you did want these, I linked them. Where did I link them? I got them on Amazon. So on our website, at the bottom, there is a link that says products we love from Amazon. And if you click that link, they are linked in our store, our Amazon storefront there. And I think those came in like a 2-pack for like $6. But you could put other stuff in that too, like your nail polish. I love to have them for my nail polish remover. All right, so I got that cleaned. And forgive me 1 second, I do have to go grab my glue. I don't have, let's just work with what I got. Let's work with what I got. Do you guys have any questions so far? Let's see. So I haven't used this in a couple days. If your tip gets clogged, you can use, I'm just going to use like a pin, and I'm going to push from the inside and try to get that dried glue chunk out of there. If you do this, just make sure you don't push the pin from the outside in. Then you're going to push that dried glue into it, and it's just going to reclog itself. So always try to push from the inside out. I don't think I got it. Oh, goodness, of course. I can probably just go grab another one. If I don't get it this time, I'm just going to go grab a second one. Another thing you can do if these get clogged is you can soak it like in hot water. Like just either put water like in your microwave. Don't forget to put a spoon in your cup so that it doesn't explode. But warm up water either in the microwave or like on your stove, and then just let it sit. There we go, I got it. It'll let it loosen up enough so that you can pull that that glue plug back out. Char, is it acrylic? I know it's plastic. I don't remember if it's considered acrylic. It kind of reminds me of acrylic plastic. So I'm going to start on the edge and build my like base row because it's going to close like this. I just need to make sure that it's not going to overhang here. So when the two pieces meet up, that I don't have a problem putting it together. And I'm going to use our handy dandy hive tray. And if you haven't gotten one of these are so amazing. They literally save a ton of time when you are working because everything is in a nice little compact space. And there is that code in the Facebook group for $10 off. And that is going to be active for a little while longer, and then that code is going to expire. So it has the 7 trays. I can either work with it like that, or I can pour it in the lid. And look at that. It literally flips up like almost all of the stones. All right. All right. So I'm just going to put like a small line of glue fairly close to the edge. And then I'm going to do basically just a straight line, but I'm going to vary the different sizes that I use as I go along. And let me see if we can zoom in so y'all can see. Of course it wants to be blurry. Already. So I'm just going to pick up random sizes, random colors, in no particular order. Oops. And place these in a straight line so that they're not overlapping the edge right here. You can make sure that they are close to each other. They don't have to be touching. You can leave a little bit of space in between them. You don't want a ton of space, but since the background is already red, we don't have to worry too much about the gaps showing. If you wanted to make it extra red, you could add some mica or glitter to your glue. And Char, I don't know if you watched last week's tutorial, but we had our giveaway for the mix pack, and we had drawn your name, but you weren't here to claim it. So I think, who was it? I think I had to draw, was it 3 or 4 names before we found a winner? All right, so since I have that done, and if you wanted to make sure that this was straight, you could put it like flat and push them down just to like double check. Or if you wanted to make sure that that row is straight. Which is the same kind of thing you would do if you had, when you're working on your tumblers on that kind of like first row. So then I'm going to work this in sections, and I'm going to work, let me go out a little bit farther. You see how it has these like ridges right here? I'm going to try to work it in that kind of section. So let me put a couple more right here. Yeah, so the giveaways too, I'm going to try to do those either every other week or at least once a month. I know I have another one scheduled that we're going to do, and the next thing that I'm going to do as a giveaway is I'm going to give away one of the trays. And how you can enter the giveaways is I will have a post in our Facebook group, and it's going to ask you just a question. And all you have to do to enter is like the post, answer the question, and then join us on the live for that week. And if I draw your name and you are here, you can claim whatever we are giving away that week. So with this line, I'm just trying to like keep my line of glue kind of like in that same angle. Then I'm going to work it like a triangle. So when you're doing the scatter, right, like right here, I have probably like a SS8, and then this stone is a SS20. I'm just trying to fit them so that they kind of work together. You can kind of think of it like kind of like honeycomb if you're working it like in those sections, but sometimes you might need to use more than one stone size to keep that section or to fill that section, right? And the more you do this, the more you'll find that you have your own kind of like technique of what sizes you like to place next to each other. You'll find your own way of how you place stones. One thing that is helpful sometimes is I'll place my larger stones kind of in randomness and then work the smaller stones in around it instead of just working from one row and building off of that. Another thing you can do is if you're not quite comfortable with it, before you commit to like putting the glue down, you could place your stones like dry on a piece of paper just to kind of see how they're gonna work or how they're gonna fit. And you'll find, kind of like what works better for you. And when I'm doing it, I just try to like even out my colors so that I'm not using like too many of the same color, like super close to each other. I just try to like vary the different colors that I'm picking up so that then you don't end up with like a chunk that's like all the same color. So any questions so far? Have any of you guys started on this? Have you started on your own apple? I don't know why it won't, like when I move, why it won't adjust. Oh, I had it. There we go. Can you see that? So this is kind of what it's going to look like all over it, right? So I'm going to use this mix, the strawberry wine, as much as I can. I'm obviously going to I'll have enough to do this top, and then I'm going to use it on this spot, and I'm going to use the other one, this one, the pink sunglasses on the bottom part. And then I'm going to ombre the two of them together. So I'll probably do this lid, and then I will do the bottom part of this with the pink sunglasses. And then I'll probably work it up to about here. And then I'm going to blend those two colors together. I don't think that you'd have enough with one bag to do the whole apple. If you added the SS16s to this mix, you would have enough to do the whole apple in the mix plus the SS16s. Like if you didn't want to use the pinks. So Teresa said she was waiting for the live before she started. Did you have a question? Was there or are you just kind of waiting to see what direction I was gonna go? So the other thing you could do is like as you're working it, instead of building off that, you could just place some of the other stones in random places and then work your fill into those stones. When you're working on like an ombre, when you're blending the two colors together, doing the random placement where the blend is happening works really well because then you can see where the stones on the top half are blending in and where the stones on the bottom half are blending in. So let's see, what else did you guys do? So yeah, Shar was saying she fights to try to not work it like honeycomb. Yeah, the more you can just get in the habit of just randomly putting them and working the stones like into that space, it it really helps. But like when you're starting your base, you're kind of starting it like honeycomb, you're just building a row. It's kind of like crocheting, right? You're like building your chain of your base that you're working off of. So then I'll work that up to here. And I think I'm going to run out of glue, so you'll have to bear with me. But yeah, any other suggestions on the like tumbler kits that I should take with me to the Painters Conference? And if you are able to come, you can use the code SHOP, SHOP, to get $5 off your general admission ticket. And it is located, it's going to be at the Cobb Center in Atlanta. And it starts on Friday, I think at 10 a.m. And then it goes until 7. And then Saturday, I think it starts at 11 and goes till either 7 or 9 o'clock. Or even if there is a project that we did maybe in a different Bling box, because I still have a couple things where I just have like a random, like I might have 1 or 2 of that project left. If you had a favorite, let me know that too, because I'm sure I could probably like recreate something and take those. Plus, it would help me like get them off the shelf. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. My printer decided that it is time to clean itself. So if you can hear that, I apologize. I don't like that one there. All right. So that is how I would do that. I would work it in like triangle sections off of the indentations from the top, and then work each section. And if you want to use this same mix for the whole thing, I'd recommend mixing in the cyan red SS16s into this mix before you start using it. You could also put this mix in it, the multi-size pack. You could mix these in with it. I would just do it before you start so that your fill and your colors are consistent, that it's kind of like even throughout. You could even just take all 4 packs and mix them all together and create your own custom mix. You could use a little of this, a little of that, whatever you want, but you're going to need to add a little bit. If you wanted to use either all of this mix, you're going to need to add a little bit more to it so that you have enough for the complete coverage. So I think I'm going to let this sit and dry. Let's see. So I think hopefully that answers some people's questions who are asking how they should rhinestone that, kind of what they should do for the fill pattern. Should it be honeycomb? Should it be scatter? I recommend doing a scatter for that. It's going to be a lot easier for you. You could do a honeycomb, but I think with what was included in the mix of the month pack, trying to do a honeycomb and varying the different sizes, I don't think that you're going to have enough with what was in the pack to be able to do that. So I highly recommend doing a scatter fill on that. What else? Yeah, if you're able to join me at Pinners, I'm gonna have a lot of stuff there, a lot of stuff for make and take. We can work directly with you. I would love to meet you guys in person. And you can use that code SHOP, SHOP, for $5 off your tickets on their website, which is I think just Google Pinners, Georgia, and it'll take you to the information. There are hotels right across the street. If you wanted to come and make like a weekend out of it, you could do that as well. So over the next week, I will be preparing for that. There will not be a live next week because I'm going to be leaving Thursday morning to drive there because I live in Florida. I live in like the Clearwater, St. Pete area. So I'm going to be driving to Atlanta. It is about an 8-hour drive from here. So I'm going to try to beat rush hour traffic and all that stuff. So there will not be a live tutorial next week. I might hop on and just say, hey, hi, how are you guys? We're here, we're setting up. I might do that, but I won't have a tutorial next week. So thank you guys who did provide your suggestions for items that I would take. If you have more of them or you think of them in a little bit, join us in our Facebook group, which is Bling Your Things Rhinestones, and you can make your post over there. So hopefully I get to see you guys in a couple weeks in person. And until then, I will see you guys over in our Facebook group. Thanks for joining me.